Good afternoon, all of you. And I know this time of the day to have a presentation just after lunch, it's going to be toughest for everybody to hear across. So I will not take much of a time, but I just want you people, after lunch is the toughest time for you people to be active. There's going to be more of all the universities and all the colleges. What we are trying to do out here basically is trying to get digital completely. We're trying to get cashless completely. So at the end of the day, your time spent in each of your institutes and your work can be concentrated on the core part. Today, where I've seen and where we have done a knowledge sector approach, where we've gone to a lot of universities and schools and found out half of the time is been wasted in reconciliation of that value which is coming in the bank and with the account of the corporate to get it reconciled. And that's the biggest problem. So today's date, what we have done and what wins we have done, we will just highlight this part. We will run through you is what we understood about the universities and colleges. Some few values, obviously you are a master of your own department, but what we have researched and we found out, this is a few things which we found out. So running through you is, I know it's not, I don't think so, it's readable. It's readable? Okay. So what makes a digital campus? So what makes a digital campus is the question mark which comes across, how can a campus be digital? Now, if you see, enhanced student experience is one of the things. Reduced operation time and manual communication. Increased efficiency in cost saving. Streamlined administration and focus on core activities. Differentiate brand equity and promotions. Now, what I'm getting across from here is basically, this is the activities which happens in schools. If this you can go through it, is basically staff, your staff management is one of the critical thing, your fee collection is one of the critical thing, your payments, collections, your on-campus value which has been collected, your cash, campus management system. So where I'm coming from is, well, you have a collection of fees, which today's date, a lot of colleges and universities have it physically, and they have different modes of collection. It can be coming down to the counter, coming down to the bank, paying it physical, getting it acknowledged, and all that. So what we are trying to create is, we are trying to give a solution for all these aspects. I must have missed out few which has not been covered, but definitely you can keep adding. You can have many more things which we as bank must have not covered, but you as an institute will have different pointers also. Fee collection made easy. What we tell is basically today's date, all the corporates have their ERP. What does an ERP do is basically what you work on your system is been captured. What I create out here as a bank is basically creating a bridge between the bank and the student with your ERP. So a student wants to pay a fees sitting across VNNS, while he gets up in the morning, he gets an SMS alert from the school, or he wants to pay his fees, he can just go online of the site, and he can see his outstanding invoices. It can be a payment of his library, payment of his fees, his second term payment, his bus, or anything of that sort. What we're giving is, we're giving an online web portal straight across out here where he can log in, he can do a transaction. I presume all the universities and schools, each student is been registered with a unique number. And that's going to be unique till the time he passes out from the university or schools. So the moment he logs in the site, he can actually log in with his registered number in the school. He can fetch all the past history, what is paid, and the future which he need to make payment. Where we give a link out here, he can do with all the options of payment through online, that is through debit card, credit card. Today everybody is talking about UPI. People are talking about QR code. All this is terminology which is already live, up and running with a lot of universities across. What benefits out here? It's a real-time reconciliation at the back end of the university and schools, where it is getting knocked off from the roll number of the student. So there is no manual intervention of anybody from the admin telling this fees is come in or not come in. There's an alert which goes across giving an acceptance is basically his fees has been paid for this tenure. This is the normal and the vanilla part which we have logged in to a lot of corporates across and a lot of schools and a lot of colleges. Your recurring fees can be done on it's called as an ENACH mandate, like if everybody has got a travel period and they forget to pay a quarterly fees, and everybody of us, like I have my daughter, I have my son who go to school, and during our busy schedule, we miss out sometimes fees, then the alert comes down that the children comes down to your parents and tell their fees has been, teacher is told to pay the fees. There's a mandate called as ENACH because the fees of each school for the tenure is fixed. So it's a matter of just registering to the value which needs to be debited on the time. Whenever is a due date, there is a file uploaded by the school itself, debiting the parent's account, crediting the student's account. And there is an alert which goes to the parent on an SMS or the student telling the fees has been credited. What you're avoiding out here, one, you're not getting a recall. That means, again, your admin person who has a reminder which keeps coming across, that's been completely avoided. And this has been successful not only with schools, it can be happening even for insurance companies where you have a premium to be filled and all that stuff. Another option is called as an e-collect. So what happens in schools, your fees is little limited, but in universities, the school can be higher. So we have an e-collect solution which says is basically today while you're doing a collection or payments, your collection needs to be having an account number, an RTGS, your IFSC code, your value, and the remarks. We as Yes Bank have customized the account number almost to the tune of the registered number of the student. So the university creates a code, can be XYZ, followed by the registered roll number of the student. And that is an account number of that student where he can do an RTGS. And this gets a real-time credit again back to the ERP. All this, well, the USP as in Yes Bank, what we're getting, we're integrating this with the ERP of each university to eliminate manual hassle. This is one where we in AIMS across, you've just seen the video which was just flashing across a couple of minutes back, where we have made AIMS Rishikesh as a complete cashless campus. And we have done this in IIT Roorkela, we have done it in Nirmala University. What this does is basically this is in QR. Now everybody understands what's a QR code. During demonetization time, every toll plazas has a Paytm QR. And everybody need to cross is basically just scan the QR, fill in the value, and go across the toll. So this is exactly on the same lines. It's basically a QR where I can display this QR across the campus. Today, as while Naveen sir was talking, you can miss out your wallet, you can miss out your car key, but you will not miss out a mobile to step out of your house. You will go back and get the mobile because mobile has become a lifeline. So everybody has a QR, everybody has created a wallet in them. So what we can create in this campus is basically wherever there is a fees to be collected, it can be a canteen. While we were talking to somebody in the delegate, somebody was telling us basically in the canteen, there are people who needs to pay it and they don't have liquid cash. This QR can be a display, they can just remove the smartphones. And I can bet is basically 90-95% of students and teachers have smartphones across with them. You can just scan this QR. Again, the QR is again integrated with the backend system of the school. And you can understand exactly where is the payment been done and the purpose of the payment. So this is a quick, and today's date, students spend a lot of time mobile doing the research. And if you ask them about the QR, they will be telling us exactly how does it function also. So that's the USP out here where we have created the complete campus. We can actually color the campus with the QR codes across. You don't need to wait for anything. There is no center out here. It's not open out here. It's 24/7. Students, iCard made smart. It's like everybody has a iCard. And you can, what in Yes Bank, what we have done is we have actually integrated the iCards with a chip, and which can have today's date, you and I, everybody uses a credit card and debit card. And credit card and debit card works on a POS machine. So that means anybody goes down there, he swipes a card, there's a transaction happening, you get an SMS alert, you put a PIN, and that's over. What we have created in schools is basically we have done a closed loop card. So each student has an iCard while they need to enter the campus. We can fit in with a chip in the card. We can have POS machines. This is a closed loop POS machines. So what happens is today in the Master Visa, there's a transaction fees which has been charged to each of us. While you have this closed loop card, it is all working in the ecosystem of the school. So this card, while he funds this card, refills this card, he can actually go and use it for a library. He can go to the canteen, he can use it out there. If there is other vendors, like a CCD or a barista for a university which has been opened across, I can give him this POS machine, which is a USP for him. He has not been charged for the master and the visa charges. This is a complete cost efficient, where we are telling it can be a cardless, it can be a cashless, but we are cost effective product which a lot of universities have gone across and we have done it across. So it's basic, what we tell it is smart payments. It's just showing a flashing a card, it's a touch, pay your payments, and you're off from that. So that's the USP what we get across is students' ID. So today I presume we in schools and colleges, and today we and my children, while they don't carry an iCard, there's a remark in the calendar. So I presume in universities, if you don't have an iCard, it's a little tough to identify whether he's a student or XYZ. So that's another thing. Otherwise, you might forget carrying cash, but you'll never forget to carry an iCard. So that's one smart thing which we've done with a lot of universities getting across, and they've implemented this across. Wallets can be created. I am not talking much on this. It's basically today's date because of the Bharat QR and the UPIs, XYZ. Before the demon, just after the demon, there were a lot many wallet players in the market. The only difficulty in the wallet player is basically you had to debit your own savings bank account and create a wallet which could be used in different entities. We are trying to eliminate that. So here also, if a university feels he wants this as student needs to create a wallet, we can create this. He can fund it by himself. He can fund it by parents. And this wallet again can be credited. Again, it can be paid across from the wallet to whatever expense he needs to pay it. But I'm not very sure if today's date after the Bharat QR and XYZ, the wallet is going to be sustainable to that effect where Bharat QR, while you want to debit it from your own account. There's another one critical thing is basically staffs and vendor payments. What we have done is basically we are the first bank, just an example and illustration, today's date, everybody of us, we have used Snapdeal, Amazon for booking something or the other. We order some goods. Unfortunately or fortunately, if it's good, we paid it across. But there are sometimes while we order some goods and we find out it is not to the thing what I've selected, the color is bad, XYZ. And there was a delayed process of refunds which is to reach the end user. It is to take around about 10 days, 15 days for the refund. Today's day, while you want people like we need the best service, and the service can happen is basically how effective we refund the funds back. We had a workshop of almost 15 days with one of those e-com players. And from 10 days refund, we have done it in 2 hours, the refund goes to the client's place. And that's the API which we harp on. So basically what we have done is, if any goods is, I'm just giving you this illustration, it might not work out here. It's like if a good is rejected, there's a person who comes and collects the goods, validates it, sees it's not damaged, he just clicks on a button on the ERP, good to pay. And real-time basis, there is a trigger from the ERP of the corporate which gets credited to his bank account from where the payment has been done. So coming down from here is basically payment of salaries and vendors. All your salary where the staff needs to make it, the entry has been done at the back end already. It's a matter of just triggering it. Today's date, the process can be physical, that is of checks given, or there is a file which goes to each of the banks, Banks processes it and gives you a reconciliation telling the payments have been done successfully or failure. What we say out here is, don't come out of your system. You can stay in your ERP. You can have your file prepared in your ERP. You can even authorize a file in your ERP. It's a straight through process. The moment you authorize it in your system, what you're using, you will get, if it's an RTGS, a real-time reverse back. Once it's successful, back to your ERP, sitting, successfully paid all the salaries. We can do customization, giving salary updates, SMS updates, to each of them going across, salary has been credited. This can work exactly for vendors also. Today there can be a process of vendor coming down, giving his invoices XYZ. Here you can create is basically the moment you finalize the vendor payment, it's done. You just need to prepare a file in your ERP. What we harp on is you can actually bank from your ERP. And I precisely say this, bank from your ERP is, I can give you account balance also in your ERP at a real-time basis. You don't need to go to www.yesbank.in, www.icicibank.in. You can actually bank on your ERP. So this payments which we are doing, and this, we have around about 600 plus corporates pan-India having this API integration which has been done and which they're banking in their ERP. And that's the USP which we get on the table. And API is application program interface. It's nothing much. It's, as a layman, today if there is an SBI ATM outside, but people out here have different cards. And you get a value at the same time while you withdraw your cash. But you get an SMS alert from your bank. It is not from SBI. You get an alert from your bank. That's API. API is already been done long time back. RBI has opened up API. Today is the first time we were the first banks to open up API to corporates. And that's the USP which we get on the table as Yes Banker and promoting digital. Expense management, simple. Vivek, you want to take over expense management?
So expense management is basically all the expenses that your staff is going to have or your institute is going to have over a period of time. It can be disbursed onto a prepaid card, controlling your expenses. We even go to an extent to give you the authority to reverse the payment back in case if any money is lying on the prepaid card unused. So you will be able to control your expenses on the prepaid card at the back end. These cards can be used at an ATM like a normal debit card to withdraw cash for managing your petty expenses. You can also use it on a POS machine and on a payment gateway to make any kind of your vendor payments or any kind of procurement that you're going to do in the future.
So expense management card is it's like an ATM. The only thing is the control is given to the corporate. So it can be given to your employees and you can actually pull back money also from it. So if you know there is a damage in the card, you can actually pull back the money. The control is on the corporate. The corporate knows exactly where is the money spent for. So this is some corporates required basically because there are some staff who keeps traveling or XYZ, they want to travel. You can give an expense management card. The corporate can fund it. He can give he doesn't have to give also anything because he can actually, the corporate can notice where is used this card for. It can be an POS, it can be an e-platform, it can be an ATM withdrawal. So this is another one thing where a lot of corporates have asked whether you have this facility. We told we can have this and we can design this to this tune. That's almost end of digital banking where we've got some from, you were just seeing the team of Rishikesh, the video which where we made this cashless campus, to Nirmal University where we did this, again the cashless campus. We have done in IIT also, one is basically an Invoice Express product. So don't go in technology Invoice Express. What we're trying is, we have actually bridged a platform for a corporate from the university to raise any invoices. That is, it can be their bills, their fees, or anything upcoming. And there is a login ID and password. So if a university doesn't have this inbuilt, what we tell is you just give me a site of yours and I can create I can plug in few things out there. The moment he creates on that, it's the bridge connectivity from invoice where Yes Bank as a platform can be at the back end for receiving all the payments. The corporate doesn't work to create this. We take the requirement, create on the bridge, entire visibility of his invoices or his pending fees or XYZ can be visible in this platform. So coming back as basically what we have done as Yes Bank and what we create for all the universities is any pain points today's date. If I have not addressed major of the pain points, we are ready to help you out to find out a pain point. But I can tell you, as the name says, we will come with some solution and we will be helping you out to that tune. So that's the end of the presentation. I'm there out here in the vicinity. If anybody wants to meet up, anybody has any clarification, we're ready to address it. Thank you very much. Yep. No, so that there's no hidden cost. I need to be as transparent as possible. See, at the end of the day, we all are working. We're not free of cost. So every bank today's date, while we have, there is a fees and there is a float income which a bank makes, which we call it as a CASA ratio, where you must see in the balance sheet. It has to be a win-win for both of us. So if there is a cost, I'm not telling you there is no cost, but if the cost is compensated by the float, which can capitalize my cost, I'm okay for it. And there is an expense for each account. Today, you and I, everybody has a bank account. And I bet on it, every bank account has got an expense. You have checkbooks, you have your cards, the maintenance of the cards, there's a transaction cost. So today we tell more of your electronic transaction happens free of cost. But at the back end, RBI, which we adhere to, has a charge for NEFT and RTGS today also. As a retailer, we pay it. For corporates, we try to waive it off only on a reason. Is basically, there is a win-win on both the sides. It's absolutely open, sir. If I start hiding, I will not be working on it. It's absolutely open. We are transparent. So I'm not telling you what I have displayed out here is going to be free of cost. Thank you very much. Anybody else? I'm open for it if... Thank you.